Hey guys, welcome back to the shop. This is Glenn from Endless Innovations again. So what I'm going to do today, and it just dawned on me from when we did past videos, it was kind of helpful. I don't know if it's helpful. Seems like it's helpful. But for some of the new viewers, one thing that we like to do is kind of give a tour of the shop. So you know what we have in the shop, what our capabilities are, and then when we're working on projects, you have a good idea, a good frame of reference of where we actually are in the shop, where we're going to be heading next when we talk about heading out to the shop or the reverse engineering lab, or if we're sitting in the offices. So I thought it'd be good just to show you around the shop a little bit, show you where certain things are situated and how we have it set up here. It's not a huge shop, but we can get a lot done in here, and that way if anybody has any questions or even like a cool project they'd like some help with, maybe we can help them out if you know what we actually do there. So I'm just going to grab the camera, and then we're just going to do a quick tour around the shop just so you know where we're at. Okay guys, well I'm actually outside the shop right now. I figured it'd be a good place to start so you can see how it's all laid out. We actually, here in Buffalo, have getting quite a bit of snow. So this is our parking lot. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to walk in through the back door where everyone comes in, and we'll start the tour from there. So let's go in. All right. So when you enter our shop, the way it's set up is off to the right here, we have some racks of bar stock, and it's kind of situated, the bar stock in our shop is situated a little differently depending on what we're using it for. So this rack here, all of this bar stock here, if I back up a little bit, is for any internal projects we have or anything that doesn't need material certification. So this is like a lot of our little scrap bins. You can see our little scrap bin sitting there. This is some of the scrap I've talked about in past videos where we'll just grab pieces of material and we'll use them for fixtures and things like that. So there's just a lot of steel bins, stainless, tubing, miscellaneous accoutrements of material that we use for different things, and that's just standard bar stock there. And then over here we have some more bar stock on that little rack there, and the saw. So I call this area here our manual milling section of the shop. And the reason I say that is we have two manual / CNC track machines back here. One that's fully 3-axis programmable, X, Y, and Z, and then another one that's just X and Y and Z programmable, and all the Z work is done with the quill. Both of those can be run manual or CNC. They're great machines. We used to have another Bridgeport style mill in here, which is up front now, waiting to be stored. But since we got another track machine, we felt it was more advantageous to have 2 track machines and one manual and one track. We also have a small setup table back here for doing welding and small fabrication work. Workbench over here. This kind of stores a lot of our things that are necessary for doing different types of work, sheet metal stuff, a lot of clamps, anything for doing, I don't know why I'm showing you all this crap, anything for doing setups, like all of our angle finders and squares and things like that, and tools and all that kind of stuff. And pretty much anything we need to set up a project or work on different things. One thing we always try to do down here is we pride ourselves in making sure we have the right tool for the job, just to make it easy. On this side over here, there's the Wilton sander with our little brackets if you watched that video. But basically we have a sander and then a couple little deburring machines, bunch of little deburring and hand grinders and things like that up on the wall, clamps. But we have a buffer sander with some Scotch-Brite on it, and then a soft wheel and a hard wheels for deburring, and then at the end over there you can see there's a little tool grinder for grinding some of our high-speed tools for profiles. So if we go this way around the shop, that's our vertical belt sander, yeah, our vertical bandsaw. It's an oldie but a goodie. I think it came out of a Bell Aerospace way back in the day, but the thing runs great, so you know we keep it around. This side of the shop, I call this our manual lathe side of the shop. We have 2 lathes here. We have a Harrison 5C collet lathe, which also can take a chuck. And then we have our Haas TL2 tool room lathe, which is set up with tool posts right now. And pretty much everything we do down here is on a tool post. We don't need turrets for the type of work that we do here, the prototyping. So, you know, we have 2 lathes that we use for doing our lathe work, and I'm sure you'll see some projects as we move through that. Over here, This is our 4x4 CNC plasma cutter. We can cut up to, like, I think it's a 1/2-inch steel. The thermodynamic plasma cutter we have set up on there will cut. We don't cut anything that big, so we never have to go that high. But it can do it if we have to do it. So if we move down through the shop here, again, this is our Haas tool room lathe. I'll just swing around this way. So again, it's a hand dial or hand crank lathe. So basically we can run it in manual mode with the controller being the digital readout, or you can run it in full CNC. And again, you know, everything we do down here is set up on tool posts, so there is no turret on that particular lathe. Going into this side of the shop here, this is what I'm calling the vertical machining center, or the machining center side of the shop. This is where we have 3 machining centers. We have 2 Kiwas. There's one there, and all these have, this one actually has a job set up in it right now, but they all have automatic tool changers, but a lot of these Kiwas will run in manual mode as well if we're just doing one part. Off to this side, this is another Kiwa, same program, same machine. They're just really nice machines for what we do down here. We might replace them eventually, but right now they do everything we want them to do. And then over here, this is our Haas mill. Again, full tool changer. This one also has in it, and you might have seen some of the videos, it does have a 4th axis indexer in there for doing 4th axis work. This one Kiwa, try not to get one dizzy, this one Kiwa here is also 4th axis capable. It's got a big 12-inch rotary table we can put in there for 4th axis work. And then off to this side over here, we have an Akuma LB15 turret lathe. Again, it's an older machine. I think it's a 1998, 1999 machine. It runs off of Warner Swayze collets or hydraulic chuck. We use this quite a bit. It's, like I said, it's a great machine. You know, I like the older machines. As long as you find parts for them, they are so reliable and so repeatable that I hate parting with them. And that has the IGF control, so it's really nice to program. Over to the side over here, this is our little workstation when we're loading programs and things like that to the machines. We can drip feed off of this, and since the 2 Kiwas run off RS-232 cables, which you can see hanging right there, we have to be in some proximity to them so we can actually download the programs. That's just some clamps. So if we go through the back here, this is just, again, more drills, tool holders. Down through here is just more indexers and things like that that we use for setting up parts and making parts, obviously. And then back here, this is kind of our catch-all area. These shelves are filled with just miscellaneous fittings, between air fittings, brass fittings, clamps, you name it. We put it in these bins. We try to keep them somewhat organized because we never know what type of projects we're going to get down here. So we try to keep some spare parts around depending on what we're working on. But you can see there's just, these shelves are just full of a lot of, almost like if you were doing a junkyard wars, this is where you would come to find your stuff. And then up here is just some thread repair kits and things like that, heel glue inserts. Going down this way here, this is a board that when we stage production work, we'll stage it on that board. But we do mostly prototype stuff down here, so we don't do that much anymore. That's just more tool holders and some fixture plates that we use. Again, these are plates that were used for different parts, but you know, we'll use them to mount big plates too. And you can see this one's got a bunch of profiles cut in it, and that way we don't cut into our table. We just use these disposable plates. Going back this way, over on this side over here, we have some presses, a couple different hydraulic presses, a small arbor press, and then we have a MIG and a TIG welder for doing miscellaneous MIG and TIG welding work, and an oxyacetylene welder there. This here, as the sign states, if you can see it, certified material. This rack over here is different from the rack that I showed you when we first walked in that anytime we're doing stuff for aerospace and we have to send certifications with the material, this is the rack that we pull the material off of. So you can see a lot of this material is labeled Delrin and ABS, and all the raw stock itself has nomenclature on it, 17.4, 303, and again, a lot of this material up here has certs, as do the material sitting in this column rack right here. This is just another workbench. There's my Spotify computer because I have to work with music, little country on right now. So now if we go to the front of the shop, so this is leaving the machining area now. now we're walking into what I call, this is our flex room. I call it the reverse engineering lab, only because we do a lot of reverse engineering here. But the way this room is set up is there's a big entry door there. I think it's a 14-foot door. You can't see it all the way up because of the boxes. But basically, and there's that other Bridgeport that I was talking about that we're sending to storage, and some other stuff's going to storage. So normally this stuff is in here, but this is our flex room. Everything in this room is set up on casters. And the reason for that is we can rearrange this room any way we want, so we can maximize the amount of space in here. So if we have to pull a car in here or something and we want to do some reverse engineering on some car parts or undercarriage or whatever, we can pull them in here and work on those. So again, this is our reverse engineering room. This is some more racks with fittings and fasteners, things like that, and then some electrical supplies for doing electrical work. So moving down this way, this is actually our reverse engineering corner. You've seen some videos with this. We have our ferro arm there with the digitizer attached to it right now, not the laser scanner. And then these are our fixture tables, setup tables that we used to make, and then we stopped making those. Now we just use them for ourselves. And then the cabinet for all the little accoutrements that go along with the ferro arm and all the reverse engineering stuff. And then moving further down this way, this is our little sheet metal table, I call it. This table here is on casters as well, so we can pull it out, and it's got different pieces of equipment bolted to it. It's got the shear, it's got the little bead roller, it's got a little raw stock or round stock, square stock bender, a little pinch roller, different things on here that, and then we can add other things to it. We can just bolt them right through the holes into the T-slots and bolt whatever we want to it. Over here we have a huge piece of, huge piece of granite. And again, we use that for setting up parts, laying out parts. It's such a flat surface and it's so heavy and robust that it actually works really well. That's just a little foot shear there. There's the Grizzly box pan brake that you've seen us put together. We have some projects set up for that. There's a couple of brew kettles for a project we're going to be working on in the future. So that's the lab here. Again, it's a flexible lab that we use for, again, doing any kind of reverse engineering and setup work and things like that. And it's kind of our clean lab. And you'll notice everywhere in the shop, even if I go back to here, if you look on the floor, even in between machines and that, we keep our shop extremely clean. It's one of the caveats for being down here is that, anyone, we have engineers and engineers and different people come down to the shop to work on projects because we do some classes and things like that to help engineers understand how to manufacture parts. So one of the caveats is, you can come down here and work, but you have to keep it clean. That's the requirement. So moving on to the reverse engineering lab, we're moving into the office area here. So here we have 4 different workstations. There's a couple stations here, one there, and then over in the corner, that's my wife Janine's empire over there. She has all her graphic stuff, so she does all of our graphic art and videos and whatever we need to support the business from a graphic art standpoint. Plus she takes care of all of the logistics and administration, does a great job and all that. I wouldn't be able to do any of this stuff if she wasn't doing that type of work for us. And she's my wife. And that's my little debacle there. What a mess. Well, not a mess. I guess that's creativity, they say, right? If you surround yourself with a bunch of garbage. But so that's my workspace there, the creative space, I guess, because it's messy. And we have a whiteboard, a video monitor for having meetings. And then over here, this is our inspection area. So this is where we keep all of our gauging, all of our pin gauges, all of our calipers, mics, things like that, height gauges, Mantis microscopes. And then over here is a comparator. And then a laminar flow bench for doing some other assembly work. So that is the shop, and again, it's just to give everyone a perspective of where things reside when we're in the shop, and where we're going, and where people are sitting when we're shooting videos, because sometimes that's all you see is my hands flailing around and you have no idea where I'm at. So if we go through this door here, don't look, it's the bathroom. So the bathroom cuts right back through, back to the shop. So again, just so everyone has, everyone has the same perspective of when we're actually working on things, where we're actually going, and what our capabilities are. So I just want to give everyone a quick video of our shop, and so hopefully the next time you see it, we'll be working on another project. I think I do have one more part indicating video coming up. which is more indicating in circles and bosses and things like that. And then we'll get back onto projects. But that's it for now. So until the next time, we'll talk to you later. Cheers.